Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us this morning. You are with myself, Jessica Shenan, and Christy Keating. And today we are going to be covering some of the amazing things that you can do with Teams that we don't really talk about too often. There's a whole back end of plugins and great things that we can do with the types of apps that you probably already use, maybe some things you haven't thought of using that can increase your performance and sometimes creativity. And I'll pass it over to Christy.
Thanks, Jessica. And if you guys have questions, Jessica will check those out during the time that we're here today. So this is meant to be catered to you and make sure that you guys get what you need. So please don't hesitate to reach out. As Jessica said, I'm going to be demoing some integrations within Teams. And so for those of you who use Teams, you may or may not know that there are a lot of different integrations that can be used within the Teams platform and without even leaving the Teams desktop application. So those include both Office 365 apps as well as third-party apps. So we'll try and take a look at both today. And we might even finish early, but we'll see how the questions roll in and go from there. So I'm going to turn off my video just from a bandwidth perspective so that, but you guys, you can see my screen, right, Jessica?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So I am just going to go through a couple different things on what you guys can do as far as adding so that Teams is your, ultimate hub for everything that you need to get done in your workday. Just to start off, I want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as the difference between teams and channels. So when you look on the left side of your Teams portal, you'll see all the different teams that you're in. And then within each of those, you have kind of these subdivisions of the team, which we call channels. So we have our demo team for the sake of these trainings and the different channels that we've created in here. And the channels is where you're going to add these integrations. So, and you can add different integrations in each channel. So depending on what the channel is used for, may determine what kind of integrations you're going to put into that channel. And so when you first come into a channel, your default view is this posts view. And essentially for any of you who use any type of social media, mostly similar to like a Facebook or LinkedIn, this is kind of like the news feed. So this is anything that's happened, whether there's been something added to the team, a file, a conversation, a comment, a meeting, anything like that is going to show up in here. And then for the, and then this is actually new. So you guys, yours may or may not look like this yet, but they're rolling out the features across the different Teams tenants and should be updated within the next couple months as they roll things out before the end of the year. So this is where, you come and create your conversation, and some of these integrations that we're talking about are also available down here, such as Stream and SurveyMonkey, which I'll show you guys how to add and things like that. So, but what I really want to show you is how we get those inside of Teams. So up at the top of every channel, you have your posts and your files as your default. It also comes with a wiki. The wiki, typically, for demo's sake, I don't think that we have anything in here, but the way we use wiki is usually to log notes, or also tell someone who maybe is new to the organization or new to the channel what the intention of the channel is. You can remove these if you don't find them to be beneficial or just feel like they're clogging up good real estate for you. It's really up to you how you want to use them. But then there's this plus button here. And so with this plus button, if you hover over it, it'll see add a tab. And so when you click add a tab, you're going to be brought to this page of all the different applications available that you can place inside of Teams. So like I said, that includes a lot, or all of the, Office 365 tools that we're used to, applications, Excel, OneNote, Word, PowerPoint, SharePoint, all those great things. And then if you continue to scroll down, there are a ton of third-party applications that are available to put right into your Teams instance. So we're not using a ton of these internally. We really utilize the amazing tools that Office 365 has to offer, but we know with each industry and each organization, there's different use cases for all these types of applications, and Microsoft is continuing to add to this list of third-party apps. And right now, gosh, I think when we started doing these trainings early 2020, there was like 75, and now there's hundreds. So they're continuing to add them, you know, from storage to project management tools to collaboration tools. It makes it so much easier to really have everything in one place. So let's start by looking at the the native tools of Office 365 and what that might look like for you guys. So in our organization, we love to use OneNote. So OneNote is basically a digital notebook. So, you know, you go into a meeting, you've got your pen and paper, you're taking notes. Well, OneNote we love in place of that because, well, personally, my handwriting's awful. Second, I type a lot faster than I can write. And then at the end of the day, this is also shareable with your teammates or your supervisor, whoever you need to be sharing those with. And it's accessible in the cloud, so you can access it on this device, your mobile device, wherever you need. So all you need to do is click on that application, and all the notebooks that you are a part of and have permission to view will show up here. So as you can see, there's a lot of notebooks that I'm a part of, but there's really only a few that I use regularly and sync to my desktop. You can create a new notebook if this is maybe a new channel, or maybe you want a specific notebook just for this channel that you don't want to, clog up any other notebooks that you already have for different initiatives. So it depends on how you want to organize it. So for today's sake, we'll just use this demo notebook, and you'll click on it. Down here, it says post to the channel about this tab. Simply that means, do you want it to show up in that newsfeed or not? Do you want people to say, when they click on it, like say, hey, this is here now. And so I'm going to leave that there to show you what it looks like. If you don't want it to, again, kind of clog up that inbox, or not inbox, but newsfeed, you can uncheck that. But then we'll click save. And now your notebook is right inside of Teams. And so you can come here, add your section name. So now when you go over here, you've got that section, and then maybe you want to categorize it by date. Oh, we're in October now. Crazy how fast this year is going, fastest, slowest year. So then again, just as you can in your OneNote desktop application or your OneNote browser, you can add different pages. So, we're going to talk again on, I guess, around the 14th, and you can just add these in and then use your notes right in Teams. So then you don't have to go in. You see I have my OneNote down here. There's times where I want to have both up. But what's really nice is, a use case for this is I meet with my supervisor every week. We have a one-to-one. And so in the sales and marketing team, we have a channel for marketing, and then there's a sales marketing sync, because I'm the senior marketing manager. I report to our director of sales, but we work really, really closely on all the strategy and, driving revenue, delighting customers, all that good stuff. And then we can make sure that we reference our notes very easily. So again, if you're not using OneNote, definitely check it out. It's one of my favorite tools in the Office 365 platform.
I would actually love to add something if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I absolutely love about OneNote is you can actually send links to specific notes, or you can plug links to specific notes into documents or emails or any sort of message. So you have the option to share notes, keep them to yourself, whatever you want to do generally. But if you want to share them just with one person or a handful of people in a specific place, you can do that too. For collaboration, that's been amazing.
Yeah, you can email just one page of that notebook. I mean, my notebooks look like a million sections down here, a million pages, and obviously I'm exaggerating, but it's super organized and it's searchable too. So if you're like, oh, I wrote a note about this topic and I really need to find it, you can search and find it really easily in the desktop version. So The other thing that's cool that reminded me of what Jessica said is you can throw files in here too. So if I wanted to click and drag a file, I could just attach it right in here so that I could just open it really easily if there's a file I need to reference in my notes. So that's how OneNote works within Teams. Again, you know, actually I want to show you too. If you're the one who added this, you can come here and rename it. So if you wanted to say like meeting notes or something like that, you can change it to that. And then it shows up there. Only you have the power to remove and rename it if you're the one who, so you don't have to worry about someone and going and messing and deleting what you've done. We'll go back to the add a tab to look at some of the other things that we can do. Again, if there's certain files that you want, you can come in here and click Excel, and all your existing files within that team will show up. And of course you can add new files as well. So I'll just go and find, we've got Sean's test here. And then so that'll come up. And so just to give you guys a use case example for this, on the marketing side of things, we're constantly putting on events, all digitally, virtually, of course, right now. And then we have important dates in mind. As a Microsoft partner, we like to know when technologies are, you know, not going to be supported anymore, or when new technologies are going to become available. So in our marketing, sales and marketing team, under the marketing channel, we have a notebook that we call important dates. And so, you know, you can title it whatever you want. And then that way, Jessica or Tina or anyone on my team who's wondering about what's going on as far as important dates that are coming up, we have the spreadsheet in here that will, you know, they can go right here to look for it instead of going into the files and trying to find it, or, you know, going into their OneDrive and trying to find it. I read a stat recently that says if one of your colleagues can't find something in like less than 2 minutes, I think it was, then you need to come up with a better file and folder structure, because at that point it just becomes too frustrating to find it. So this makes it really easy on the rest of your teammates when there's really important or timely things. And what's cool is you can add and remove these. So if one quarter you want a specific file up here that's not going to be relevant in Q4, well, it's October 1st, we can take it down today and add the other one. So it's really customizable to what you guys are looking for. And then just to show you what this looks like in the post, so you can see Christy added a new tab at the top of the channel. Here's the link, so I can click right from here to go there, or of course I can click the top to go there. So that's just what it means by posting to the channel. If you don't want it to post to the channel for whatever reason, it's totally up to you. You can just uncheck that box. Now, if we click plus again, there's a couple other tools that I really like integrated inside Teams, and one of those is Planner. And so I know we've talked about this before. I'm going to uncheck this time just so you guys kind of see what it looks like. But we'll create a new planner here and just title it Team Tasks. So say we're in the certain department's team, and we want to make sure that everyone that comes to the meetings in this channel has their action items and they're held accountable, instead of just, you know, taking maybe your notebook and pen and writing it down and crossing it off. This way, everyone who's part of that project can come in and see where it's at. So we can go ahead, set our due dates. And what I like about Planner is if Jessica and I are collaborating on something, we can both be assigned it, and it'll both show up on both of our planner tasks. So that's pretty cool, which you can also have over here on the left-hand side now too. You can have different buckets here. So like what I like to use is saying, okay, I have something that's to do, I haven't started it. If it's in progress, I can come and move it over to this one. So it's in the to-do bucket. I can come over and move it to the in progress. You can come in here, add notes. Jessica, can you send me the Excel file associated with this? And then Jessica could come in here and add the attachment that I need. You can come and type your messages here. And so it's just a really great way to collaborate on certain topics. And then if Jessica and I are working on this and Tina, our boss, is like, oh, I'm curious about where they're at with that project, she can come in, just click on the team tasks and see where it is instead of calling us or emailing us or whatever it is. So for those of you that use Planner, this is a really cool way to put it right inside the teams that you're working on and get it to show up for the entire team that's working on it. And the thing is too, you can now add, so you have your team, and typically in the past, every channel that you created within that team, anyone who's in that team, when you look at manage team, would have access to all these channels. However, now, if you notice this lock on this channel, you can now go ahead and create a private channel. So you can say this is accessible to everyone on the team, or you can say I only want a specific group of people within that team. So now it's broken down by channel, so that's really cool. And I know some people have asked about that in the past, so I wanted to point that out while we're talking about it. Moving on to more things that you can add into your different channels. One thing that I think is really cool is you can add an actual website right in here. And so we use this sometimes for training purposes or demo videos of like, hey, this is how you use the channel that you're in, or how can you find everything in this channel? Or maybe it's just a really relevant piece to what you're working on. Maybe you have a website you're constantly checking for things within this team. So I just pulled this from Microsoft. We're always using the different Microsoft documents and resources. So look, I mean, this looks exactly like you would if you were to pull it up in your Chrome browser or your Edge browser, whatever you use. And so it makes it really easy to just have this in here instead of, maybe bookmarking it, or you emailed it and can't find the email now. Well, it's right here. So that makes it really easy and convenient. Now, as you see, we're getting a little clogged up here. So what happens is you'll then have a drop down that says one more, or two more, or three more, and we'll show you that as we continue to add here, but they'll always be at the top and accessible. So I personally love this feature that you can just throw the link right in here. The other one that I wanted to show you is forms. So I know as far as collecting data or for onboarding new employees maybe, or, we've used for potlucks at, when we were getting together last year for Thanksgiving, we do a potluck. And so, we could say, let's add a form that asks people what they're bringing, make sure to note if it is containing nuts or dairy or all that stuff to make sure that we're accounting for all allergies and that stuff. One thing that I like that we use here is this employee Q&A. And so when we onboard a new employee, and we've also started retroactively doing this for existing employees, is just a way to have a hub of get to know your employees, especially while we're all remote. So we have this employee Q&A, which then alerts me, and I write a little fun write-up about them once they've filled this out. So fun questions like, what did you want to be when you were a kid? How'd you get into tech? Some people fall into it accidentally. Some of our team, started taking apart phones when they were kids and just loved to rebuild things, and, favorite vacation, things like that. So if you're looking to capture information, this is a great way to use it. And again, this auto-populates to, a pretty lengthy text, so you can come here and click rename.
Christy, we had a quick question.
Sure.
Giovanni wanted to know, is there a limit to the number of tabs you can create within a channel?
That's a good question, and I haven't seen it. I think if we go over here, we have 9 more. So I don't think that there might be a limit, but I mean, I don't know how many you're looking to add, but I don't have an answer whether with a number, but as far as I've seen, I haven't seen a limit. That said, as a best practice, I wouldn't, and here, this is again a demo channel. We don't actually use this, and that's why we have so many. As a best practice, I wouldn't overdo it, because the way I personally use these are, these are the most frequented documents or, links or whatever that you need, and they're the most important. And it's kind of like that, when there's everything there, everything's important, well, then nothing becomes important, right? And the point of these is to make it easier for the user and the teams, not to make it harder or overwhelming. So as a rule of thumb, less is more, just as it is with your channels. I mean, when I came on board the sales and marketing team, I think we had 15 channels within the sales and marketing team. And Tina and I got together, and I think we've condensed it down to 8 now, just because people were getting confused of where to go. And so you want to make sure that you're thinking about that, and what truly is the most important that needs to be at the top, and what could maybe live in the files, or maybe how can you leverage the wiki, because here you can have different sections in the pages too. So if there's certain links or documents that you want, you could even break it out and organize it within here. So hopefully that's helpful.
I was just thinking as you were explaining that too, you were talking about like the organization of teams. I think that when we're doing it, I'm going to use the word properly, but when I say properly, I mean in a way that's most productive. When we're most productive with the way we organize our teams and the channels, it does become less cluttered and much more clear. And I think our team, we've, obviously we're deep into this. We've become professionals at it. We help our clients with those best practices as well, not just what you talked about with the tabs, but with the teams and the channels and how to organize them and how to remove some. So we do support clients with that. So we know that that's a big thing. Christy and I have been talking about maybe doing a session on just that. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Jessica. I mean, yeah, we have done a ton of Teams deployments, especially in the last year or so with everyone going remote. And it can be really overwhelming if you don't know where to start. And so some people start by just, I'm going to build a team for this and team for that and channel for this and that and the other thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where is even anything located? And so we like to kind of whiteboard map it out with you and start again with less is more. You can always add and you can always clean up, but the cleanup takes a little bit longer than just adding. And so, but the nice thing about Teams is it does sit on SharePoint, which is of course all your files. So it is really easy to move, certain folders or files to other teams. But again, it just does take a little bit extra time away from your day. So we just want to make sure that you guys are starting off in a good productive way to avoid anything like that. The next thing on my list that I wanted to show you is if for whatever reason you aren't a fan of the Office 365 forms that they have built into the platform, I know SurveyMonkey can do a lot more as far as their survey options on their paid plans. And SurveyMonkey is one of the third-party applications. So if you wanted, you could, if you're someone who uses this, you could come in and add SurveyMonkey as your as one of your tabs here. And so you can log in and you can have your different, your backend portal of SurveyMonkey right here. Alternatively, if you have a link to a SurveyMonkey survey rather than forms, you could add that simply as a link, just as we did with the Microsoft Training tab. So it's really, really, really customizable to whatever you're using, whatever the intention of the channel is. You guys can think about these things on how to make it a more powerful channel. And especially as we're, remote right now and we can't physically sit next to someone and say, hey, this is where you go and this is what you do. Or if you're, if you're hiring right now and you're onboarding new employees, the training and onboarding process has become a lot more difficult just in this remote world. And so when you can have things at their ready, like, heck, maybe you have a training channel and you come in and, or, either a training team or a training channel, and you can come in and say, okay, part of week 1 is to go to the training team, and you're going to go to this channel and make sure you review all the tabs at the top, and all the tabs can be the different things that they need to fill out or go through. And, I think there's a lot of different cool use cases for a lot of these things. And speaking of, onboarding employees or, things like that, there's this new tool. Sean talked about it a couple weeks ago when we last spoke, but we were talking about a lot of different things. So I wanted to make sure we revisited it. For those who didn't join or for those who didn't catch it, there's this new tool called Lists. And so it's kind of like, gosh, I want to maybe call it like Planner almost on steroids or something. It's a very more robust kind of project management tool. And so they have these templates actually right out the gate, which is pretty cool. So like I said, employee onboarding, anything that you can think of that's like a process within your organization could be a good use case for using Lists. So they've got event itineraries, obviously, whether it's a virtual event or a physical event, there's a lot of logistic and planning that goes into these. Content scheduler, as a marketing manager, I'm looking at what am I posting on our social media channels at what time, what emails are going out this month, what events are we hosting, different, what type of collateral do I need to support the sales team in their process, things like that. If you're a manager managing, travel requests, if, again, maybe not in today's current environment, but in the quote normal times, you might have a team that's traveling a lot and they need to put in their requests, whether it's for client training on site in different locations or selling, conferences, or maybe this is just a simple way for you to manage PTO requests as well. So we'll go ahead and look at one of these templates. And so it's really cool, guys. You can come in and have all these different details. So, they sign the offer letter. This is the description of what that means. When do they want to complete it by? All this. So this looks great. Let's go ahead and use this template. And then you can title it. And we'll do orange for our brand. And you can choose whatever fun icon that you want with it. So again, it's kind of like the next level planner, if you will. So then you can, like I said, these are all the different categories that you have here. You can filter it. You can group by different, if you have multiple people that are doing onboardings and hirings, you probably have different hiring managers across your departments, things like that. And so you can just come in and add new items, and just like Planner, but, catered to kind of a different approach. So I'm not going to spend the time going through it, but you guys get the gist of like, you can come here and type in whatever you want to make sure that it aligns with your business process. So they just rolled this out in the last couple months. And so we are starting to look at how we can use it inside Managed Solution, especially on the project management side of things, and things, again, that are, already documented processes, but how do we share those processes with the appropriate people? And Microsoft is allowing us to do it through these new tools, which is really awesome. The last thing I wanted to show you as far as things that you can add are, there it is. So there's YouTube. You can add a YouTube link too. There's Stream, which is Microsoft's video platform, and then there's YouTube. So if you have a YouTube video, which we like to use, especially if you guys have been coming to these trainings, for quite a bit, you'll know. So you can search if you know the title of a video, or I just grabbed a link and you can go ahead and why is it not? Course for the demo, it's not allowing me to save. That is a valid URL. Strange, I haven't had this error before. Well, let's try stream then. So if you come in here, like I said, stream is Microsoft's video platform, and we're gonna dive into stream in another future event. So if you guys are interested in learning more about stream, then we will be showing a demo on that and how you can use stream within Teams. I'm just going over to my office to pull up stream. Is there any questions in the meantime while we're waiting?
I don't see any coming through, but while you were pulling that up, some of the ways we've used Stream is like our CEO will record a company-wide message on Stream and post it to us on Teams, and it's a great way to find those kinds of things really easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so some of the ways that we use Stream.
Yeah, the other one is I'm going to pull this link. So we, as a Microsoft partner, will engage in training with their experts over there. And so we got a training on EMS from one of their, security specialists over there. And so we can come in and retitle this how we want and save it. And again, here it shows up at the top, and the video is right there embedded inside Teams, which is awesome. It's just at least one less step for someone to have to go and find it elsewhere. Again, like I said, if people can't find something really quickly, they either give up or they're going to ping you to find it, and then you have to go find it or explain where it is. And it's just, you think about your productivity, this just really creates a more efficient way for your users, your employees, your managers, supervisors, whoever needs what they need can easily find it in these top, add-ons. And again, they're endless. I wish I could go through all of them today, but we'd be here till probably Sunday if we went through all of them.
Let's go. Let's start.
I mean, there's Power Apps. So if you guys are looking to create things like workflows and automation, this is a really cool and powerful tool. Obviously, just as we added an Excel file, you can just the same add PowerPoint or Word. If you guys are using Visio for kind of like workflow planning and visualization boards, go ahead and throw that in there. I just realized they have the Adobe Creative Suite, and as our marketing person, I'm creating collateral and things like that. So if I wanted to, I could actually do that right in Teams. So yeah, I mean, gosh, I don't even know half of what some of these are capable of, but I'm sure, depending on your industry and organization, there's a ton that might be applicable to you that you're already using, or maybe something you've missed in Teams, right? Like, oh, I wish it had this component to it and Microsoft just doesn't have whatever it is. Check these out. You don't know what you might find. So I just think, the power of Teams is really endless when you start using the different integrations that you can pull into it. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about all the cool things that you can really do right inside the platform. And again, you can do this on different, I am someone who likes to travel when, in regular times, and I could be at the gate at the airport about to board, and someone's like, hey, ask something in Teams, and I can go in and just comment back or access the file or whatever. It just makes it so much easier and really just accessible to whoever you are, wherever you are. So that's all I wanted to show for today. No more questions, Jessica?
I don't see any more questions. I would love to hear, though, from those who are on, what are some of the daily applications that you are using that might not be part of the regular Microsoft suite? So I'm just curious, like, are you using outside organization apps? Are you using chat apps? I saw Intercom on here.
Mm-hmm.
Intercom is a great tool that people use for, combo, I think, customer support and new website visitor
Mm-hmm.
chat. And I'm curious to know what you guys are using, just so we can maybe speak into a little bit of what you use on a regular basis and how it could sort of transform the way you work if you plug it into Teams.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, I think you were dead on talking about how much easier it makes things. And the thing is, until you experience it, it's hard to really understand, right? So we're doing our best to explain it, but I feel the same way. You can do anything within Teams. And what's exciting about that is, like you said, if you're mobile, and even when you're not mobile, you're you're in one place. You don't have to bounce from place to place inside your screen. And I think that is, if anyone has kind of showed us the value of that, I think, Apple's done a great job at that. Now Microsoft is doing a great job at that with this platform, showing that
Mm-hmm.
the fewer clicks, the fewer places your eyeballs need to go, the more efficient we are and the more focused we are.
Yeah, I know a lot. We've talked with customers I know and partners that use Rike, which is project management. We have, Zoho is pretty popular. I know Box for data, some people utilize in conjunction with Microsoft. So those are all in here. If you guys are a heavy event, use event management, there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah. We do have another question. The question is, on the sidebar and not within the channel, could you add apps like Microsoft To Do or Zendesk or SurveyMonkey? He said, where you have Planner. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can come over here. And so these are just kind of recent ones, but if you click more apps, it'll show you all the different ones that pull up in the other. So it's really a matter of personal use too. So the difference to note here is when you're within this team, only people who have access to this channel are going to see this. If there's something you specifically personally use on a regular basis, this is where I would add that. So you can come here, if you guys use Jira, if you're, I could probably put OneNote here because I use it so much. I just started playing with this myself. But if there's something that you use and you don't really care about who else sees it, then that's where this would play in versus inside a channel. The channel is more about accessibility to those within the channel that you're working with, whether that's, the department you're in, say you're in the marketing department or the project management department, thinking about things that pertain to all those people. But there might be something you specifically use that maybe no one really else on your organization uses, or there doesn't need to be collaboration with it. That's where you can come in and customize this left-hand sidebar. So I hope that helps explain the difference.
Yeah, and I imagine something like Zendesk, we don't use it, but to me, I imagine that would make sharing, like collaborating on customer support, significantly easier. If you have your channels organized and your teams organized and you have the right people, on the right projects in the right areas, you get a Zendesk ticket and you can triage that pretty easily within Teams.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I use Adobe Creative Cloud, but no one else in my organization is building collateral in there. So that might be something that I would add here. But I wouldn't want it to clog up the sales team because they don't really care what it looks like as I'm working on it. They just want the finished document. So rightfully so. So I'm just looking into some of these too. I mean, a lot of people use Monday. If you're interested in the stock market, you can get real-time updates in the stock. So news, I mean, this is endless. So, you know, I really encourage you to check it out and see what might be in here that you were unaware of. And the other cool thing is, I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but there's also the tool Zapier, and Zapier does integrate with Teams. So there's also ways that you can go into Zapier and kind of connect some of these applications to automate some of the things that you guys are doing. So any other questions?
None right now.
All right. Well, then we're almost at time, so I will respect everyone's time and give 4 minutes back into your precious Thursday. We thank you for joining us today. We hope you learned some of the cool, powerful stuff that Teams can do by bringing in some of those other applications you guys are regularly using. We'll meet again on, let's check the calendar here, the 15th. We don't have our topic planned yet, but we have a couple of ideas of what we're going to be looking at. And we will certainly put that out in an email so that you guys are alerted ahead of time. And as always, this is recorded. It will be sent out to everyone who signed up. You're welcome to share it with colleagues. And if you can't make the next one, you'll get the recording. So without anything else, I'll let you guys go. Have a great Thursday, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.